think in El Salvador it is known as Bom Dia or Bom Tarde. Am I right? Bom Tarde. Sorry for my wrong pronunciation. I tried my level best.
No, I'm trying to do better.
Honorable Minister for State for External Affairs and Culture, Ms.Meenakashi Lekhi ji, DG ICCR Shri Kumar Tuhin, Ambassador of El Salvador, His Excellency Guillermo Rubin Funes, artist of today's evening and the master of ceremony, a kind of a celebrity today, Mr. Rodolfo Vega, all distinguished His Excellencies ambassadors of different countries, distinguished artists from different parts of the country, faculty members of IGNCA, officers of ICCR, and other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great pleasure to be here and welcome you on this important occasion of inauguration of the exhibition by Mr. Rodolfo. And as I could gather the information that Mr. Rodolfo has traveled more than 40 countries, if I'm not wrong, almost 40 countries. And he doesn't look that old to travel 40 countries. And his passion has been to collect new modern things from different countries and include them in his piece of art. That is remarkable. So in a sense, he is a truly democratic artist who involves each and every country and spreads the message of world brotherhood throughout the world. This is his 4th visit to India, and I'm told that every time he comes to India, he puts something new to his piece of work, piece of arts. So we are really privileged to welcome you here, and we are honored that this exhibition is being inaugurated here. As we all know, our Honorable Minister holds double charge of 2 ministries which are interrelated, especially for this occasion. That's the Ministry of External Affairs and Ministry of Culture. And if I say that she is a true cultural ambassador of India, it will not be an exaggeration. The way she has traveled, if you are following her on Facebook, you would be amazed. Today evening she is here, and tomorrow morning you see her visiting any country, meeting some head of the state in other countries, and again in the evening you are seeing her in another country. So she is so frequent traveler, full of energy, full of enthusiasm, and full of motivation. And we are privileged to have a minister like her in our ministry, and it is indeed an honor to welcome her here. I could see my friend Shri Kumar Tuhin, who is the Director General of ICCR, and ever since he has entered in ICCR, the bonds between IGNCA and ICCR have become thicker, and credit goes to the initiatives taken by Shri Kumar Tuhin, and I welcome him here. I must acknowledge the enthusiasm and motivation His Excellency the Ambassador Mr. Guillermo Rubin Funes has enthused in this exhibition, because he has been frequently visiting IGNCA to monitor the progress and the arrangements, which is remarkable. We very rarely see topmost officers, topmost bosses of this institution, any organization for that matter, coming and personally monitoring the arrangements. So thank you very much, sir, for being there as a guiding force for all of us. I see quite a lot of luminaries in this auditorium belonging to different fields of arts, visual arts, performing arts, academics, everyone. I welcome all of you here without taking much of a time and being a barrier between you and the excellencies who are at the dais. From the bottom of my heart, I welcome you all here at the Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts. Thank you very much.
Namaste to all of you. Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Ms.Meenakashi Lekhi ji, Member Secretary IGNCA, Dr. Joshi, Ambassador Guillermo, Rodolfo Vega, the artist whose paintings we are exhibiting today, other ambassadors, Joint Secretary Latin Americas, dear friends. It's indeed a delight to see the IGNCA auditorium today full to the capacity at this event, which ICCR is organizing in partnership with the Embassy of El Salvador and with IGNCA. And as was mentioned earlier, this is being done to mark a few important milestones, including, of course, the 75th anniversary of our independence, and also the 44th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries. I recall when a few months ago, when Ambassador Guillermo had come to see me in my office, and he came to discuss this proposal of this painting exhibition, and he mentioned to me about the previous visits and he showed me some paintings and photographs. Of course, I was very happy, and I quickly jumped at this idea. Also because I saw in the painting that will be a very, very good and important value addition to already vibrant cultural landscape of New Delhi, and also to other cities where the exhibition would be taken. Now, I'm very happy that Ambassador's efforts have now are seeing this day, and again, a lot of thanks are going to him. But before that, at the outset, I must convey my very sincere gratitude to our Honorable Minister for taking time out from her very hectic schedule and agreeing to be the chief guest today, agreeing to come here today, and for all the guidance and advice that she has been giving to me over the last few months and weeks, and especially during the preparation of this exhibition. Thank you very much, ma'am. Dr. Joshi, he mentioned about ties between ICCR and IGNCA, and of course it's been a delight to work together both between the two institutions, and also personally with him. I know many occasions we have turned to him when we look for advice and when we are looking for some cooperation, and I can only see that we will be working even closely, I think, in the times to come. Rodolfo, I had some chance to speak to him for a few minutes before the function began, and I could see the energy which he brings to his works. He lives in France, but he is working also, while being in France, working to promote cultural cooperation between France and Latin America. And I'm sure that after this visit, even the fourth, but this is one very, very important one, after this he will be working even strongly, bringing all his energy, all his talent, and commitment to promoting cultural cooperation between El Salvador and India, and also in general between El Salvador, Latin America and India. So with these very brief words, I end my remarks here, and I will convey my greetings to the artists, to all of you, and invite you to enjoy this exhibition and enjoy the works of Rodolfo. And as was mentioned earlier, that he keeps collecting all these important collectibles from different places, and then weaves them together with his thoughts. So we will see some glimpse of that today. Thank you very much for giving me this time.
Thank you. I now request His Excellency Mr. Guillermo Rubio, the Ambassador of El Salvador, to kindly speak on the occasion.
Honorable Minister of External Affairs and Culture, Madam Meenakashi, Lekhi, again, thanks so much for being here. Director General of Indian Council of Cultural Relations, Ambassador Kumar to him, Member Secretary of the Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts, Dr. Joshi, Excellencies, Ambassadors, distinguished diplomats, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to congratulate all Indians on the recent celebration of the 75th independence anniversary of this great nation, with whom we are united by 44 years of diplomatic relations, which were formalized on February 12, 1979, with El Salvador having inaugurated its diplomatic representation in New Delhi on June 1, 2008. Throughout these years, relations between the two countries have generated bonds of brotherhood, which have enabled political dialogue and cooperation between the two nations has been intensified and enhanced. There have been several high-level visits from both countries, which have strengthened the ties of friendship, having signed several agreements and conventions on cooperation in the areas of science, technology and innovation, agriculture, fisheries and aquaculture, public security, among others. Likewise, El Salvador has benefited from an important number of scholarships and short courses in technical training and soon in diplomacy. Appreciation and affection from the Salvadorian people towards this country has increased, considering also that India has provided medicine and financial assistance to our country in various occasions to face problems such as our country's vulnerability to the effects of climate change as well as the recent COVID-19 pandemic. To celebrate both commemoration, the Embassy, with the support of the authorities present, its exhibition works by the Salvadorian painter Mr.Rodolfo Vega, who is an artist, interior architect, and cultural administrator. This exhibition intends to connect the art of El Salvador and India. It is important to point out that the art of each of our countries presents multiple particularities, as it reflects the postmodern trend in its artistic manifestation. Salvadorian art has been linked to non-traditional forms of expression, such as installation art, performance art, conceptual and video art, including drawing, painting, engraving, and sculpture. It is important to highlight that in 2016, Mr. Oviedo Vega was awarded by the French government for his cultural work and for consolidating links between France and Latin America. He is currently the president of the UNI Cultural Association in Paris, a residence and exhibition space for artists, which promotes art and since 2010 has benefited more than 1,000 artists worldwide. Between 2018 and 2022, he was director of the International Cultural Center of Panama. In 2015, Mr. Oviedo Vega contributed to the creation of the association to promote the culture of Central America in France. His work is part of various personal and public collections, and he has exhibited in more than 20 countries around the world. Among these exhibitions and public collections are the Pompidou Museum in Metz, France, Tehran Artistic House, the Spanish Ministry of Defense, the Gomez Palace in Havana, Cuba, the collection of Prince Albert of Monaco, and Prince Carlos of Bourbon of the Two Sicilies, among others. I believe that this kind of cultural exchanges contribute to strengthening our relations of friendships and cooperation. I hope all of you enjoy this excellent exhibition. Dhanyavad.
Respected His Excellency Mr. Guillermo Funes, our DG ICCR, Mr. Tuhin, and our artist here, Mr. Rodolfo. I will say what's going on in my head when I hear the name Rodolfo. And none less than Dr. Joshi, in whose premises we are all sitting. So he's the real host, who's hosting all of us. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, honor and pleasure to be here for the simple reason that I feel I have a very special bond with Latin America. And it's not just a chance that Latin America has come to me as an assignment. Destiny decides where you're going to be, who your friends are going to be. And I feel this had to come in my faith to work with Latin America. And I feel personally very, very close to the people, close to everyone around. And there's a certain sense of belongingness. And that sense of belongingness comes when you respect each other culturally. And this cultural exchange of this nature, where we appreciate each other through art and craft and belongingness, the way of life, is what makes politics, businesses, cooperation an easy task. Those are harder things. So the easy one, it's easy to like things, I feel. I personally feel it's easy to like people because most people will always have something good about themselves. So the moment your eyes get trained to look for goodness, the moment your heart gets trained to accepting goodness from others, you're able to give the same warmth to everyone around. And that is what culture does to you. So if you're a culturally sound person, it's easy to make friends. It's easy to be in cultural life. And I feel it comes so naturally to Latinos and people from Latin America. And India is no stranger. We are very open people. We can compete with you. So who's better? Who's more warm? Who's closer? I think we both in healthy competition. And it's hard to decide which one to tick for, or maybe does I tick for both? And that's the kind of relationship this painting, art, and craft brings to us. Mr. Rodolfo being an acclaimed painter worldwide, I can only say India offers you another aspect of life which can be seen, appreciated, especially when you're here at a very momentous occasion. And that momentous occasion is when India is celebrating 75th year of its independence, while you've been through 200 years, which according to our historical perspective is still a young nation. So you may say, oh, you are 75, we are 200, and you call us young nation. Our civilization goes back to a few thousand years. And minimum we think of is 7,000 years before Christ. and that's the timeline we work with. And that's the cultural ethos we respect. So for us, 200 is also very, very young. But when we celebrate 75 years, what does it mean that 1.3 billion people on this planet, with so much of diversity, with so much of color, with so much of differences, divergence, but there is a very strong inner thread which is connecting all. If one gets to appreciate that, one gets to understand India. And respecting that thread and respecting different colors, different flowers is what India is all about. And I am one hell of a, I wouldn't use the word nationalistic, patriotic, but hell of a very proud Indian who feels, who reads, who lives with art, craft, culture, ethos, values. But I feel that one lifetime is not enough to learn about India. I mean, I feel I know nothing. I was born here, I grew up here, and I feel I know nothing. The reason is there is so much that India offers, and so many things which ideally, whether it's craft or it's painting styles or it's singing styles or it's appreciating all that requires a huge amount of time and learning. And I keep praying to God that rebirth should be there. I don't know how many people believe, but I wish that I get to be reborn, because I feel there's not enough time in this life for me to learn about my own country, forget the world. So I just hope and pray your stay here is comfortable. You get to see the country, you get to meet the people, you get to meet the artists. And I was just thinking, just now, it's just an idea, I'm not saying you take it up, but it's just an idea that because we are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and yesterday some iconic things have happened. India Gate was a symbol of imperialistic power. We've retained some of it. We've changed the vista. We've called it a Kartavya path, which means it's a path of Kartavya is not work. It's duty. It's basically duty. And the concept is that once people comply with their duty, the rights of others will automatically get complied with. So emphasis in life and civilization has to be more on duty rather than rights. for the simple reason the rights do not get complied with because somebody is faulting in duty. So the fault in duty needs to be corrected if you want to address the issues of right. And one's right is other person's duty. So anyone and everyone should comply with the duty, and that's the kind of inspiration and motivation that this country is going through. We are going through transformation. We are carrying many vestiges of imperialistic practices which we are trying to shed off in the 75th year while retaining the good things. There are things which need to be altered, and rewriting that part is the transition which India is making. And we are having a drone show this evening. So a country which went through food scarcity, for example, a country which went through resource scarcity. In less than 75 years, today we are the provider of food to the world, to ourselves, feeding everyone, green revolution, white revolution, to so on and so forth. COVID showed the way that many countries which are resource rich could not manage, but India with a large population of 1.3 billion managed it. From fragile 5, we turned to top 5 nations in world economy. So there's a lot going for us, whether it's technology, it's value systems, it's diversity, inclusiveness, so on and so forth. I just wish you get to reflect this in your work and you absorb as much as possible. And thus my request, I don't know whether your ambassador is going to agree or not, my request was that I want you to travel to UP, Uttar Pradesh, and I want you to travel to Lucknow, because that's another state which is, if it was a country, it would be the 5th largest country in the world. So I want you to experience that and experience the real, in our language we call it Desi, which means very Indian, very North Indian, and experience that for your own sake. Less traveled path, but maybe from my perspective, that's a state which is going to transform, or which has already started transforming what India is all about. And if you get to read about Raja Ram and you get to read about Ramayana, and those are the things which happen on that land. So that what is the significance of Ayodhya, how through the centuries it survived, how much of pain people went through, and how they are trying to overcome that civilizational pain. As an artist, I feel you could reflect it in your work, which will be challenge to most people. At least people like me, it's a challenge to reflect that. But artists are definitely more sensitive to human aspects, to emotional aspects, and they can reflect it in a much nicer way. And the paths which are off-traveled, I always say those are not the paths which people like me will take. I'll always look for another path which is less traveled and which needs to be traveled to showcase the right value system. To understand India, it becomes very, very important. And that's where I was requesting. I know the place which was in your ambassador's mind, but I'm trying to divert it to where I want to take you. And that's for a reason, because I want you to experience that aspect. In addition to the fact it's easy for me to manage place. I don't think I should be speaking more. I've already said what I really wanted to say. It's a collaboration. It's a place where we all come together at an emotional level, at a mental level. We have a drone show this evening, which will be there tomorrow and day after. 7:45, got to be there. And I know all of you are formally dressed, but you can definitely take your jacket and tie off and put it in the car and join me. It'll be nice. I'm inviting everyone sitting here. It's a public thing. It's no invitations needed. But get to again feel and see what India is speaking about, what India is talking about. It's I think will be a great experience. between El Salvador, India, Latin America. We all work very closely in spite of 15,000 kilometer or more distance, but where hearts meet, these are just distance in the timeline, but hearts and emotions connect us far deeper and can overcome any distance. And we've all decided to overcome the physical distance with our emotional connectivity. Let's stay connected, let's keep working. Buenas tardes, to pehle bolna chahiye tha. I have not said that. So I'll say gracias, viva la India El Salvador. Yeah? Thank you very much. Gracias. Jai Hind.